Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the hills and surrounded by lush green forests, there lived a young boy named Raj. The village, though small, was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other, and the people were kind-hearted. But like in most places, there were a few who were known to be more respectful and generous than others. Raj stood out even among the kind-hearted villagers. From the moment he was born, his parents had raised him to be respectful of everyone, regardless of their age, status, or position in life. His mother would often tell him, "Respect is the foundation of every relationship, Raj. It doesn't matter who someone is or where they come from. Always treat them with kindness and respect." As Raj grew, he began to understand the importance of these words. He would make a conscious effort to speak kindly to everyone, whether it was the village elder who could barely walk or the young children who played around him. He would always say please and thank you, and listen intently when others spoke, showing them that their words mattered. His friends admired him, and the elders of the village often spoke highly of his manners. One bright and crisp morning, Raj was walking through the village square. It was market day, and the hustle and bustle of the villagers buying and selling goods filled the air. As Raj passed by the food stalls, his eyes caught sight of an elderly woman struggling to carry a large basket filled with fruit. The basket was overflowing with apples, pears, and grapes, and the old woman looked like she was having a hard time managing it. Raj immediately noticed that no one around her seemed to be paying attention. The market-goers were busy haggling with the merchants or talking to their friends. Raj's heart tugged as he watched the old woman, who appeared tired and fragile. Without a second thought, he hurried over to her. "Excuse me, ma'am. Let me help you with that," Raj said, his voice gentle and full of concern. The woman, who had not expected anyone to offer help, looked up in surprise. Her wrinkled face broke into a warm smile, and she sighed with relief. "Thank you, Raj. You are a kind boy," she said, handing him the basket. "I've been carrying this all day, and my old bones can't take much more." Raj smiled back. "It's no trouble at all. It's the least I can do." As Raj took the basket from her, he noticed that the woman had a soft glow in her eyes, as if she knew something that he didn't. She walked alongside him, and they made their way to her little cottage at the edge of the village. As they walked, she spoke. "You know, Raj, there's something special about the way you treat people. Most people pass me by without a second thought. It's rare to see someone like you, especially so young." "What's your secret?" she asked, her voice laced with curiosity. Raj, a little surprised by the question, thought for a moment. "I was raised to always show respect to others, regardless of who they are. My parents taught me that every person deserves kindness, whether they're rich or poor, young or old. I try to treat people the way I'd want to be treated." The old woman nodded, her eyes twinkling. "Your parents have taught you well, Raj. There's a saying, a golden rule of sorts, that I want to share with you. It goes like this: treat others the way you want to be treated, or as I like to say, respect others as you would want to be respected." Raj thought about these words for a moment. They made perfect sense, but the way the woman said them made him realize there was more to respect than just being kind. It was about seeing others as equals and acknowledging their worth, no matter what. As they reached her home, the woman invited Raj in for tea, and they sat together in her cozy little cottage. The fire crackled softly in the hearth, and the warm scent of herbs and flowers filled the room. The woman shared stories of her life, her struggles, and the lessons she had learned. But throughout all her stories, one theme stood out: respect. She told Raj how, when she was younger, she had always respected others, even when they hadn't treated her the same way. And that respect had, in turn, earned her the respect of many others over time. The golden rule of respect, Raj, she said, is not just a principle to live by in moments of convenience. It's a way of life. When you show respect to others, you create an environment where kindness flourishes. Even when people don't return that respect, you can still hold your head high because you have done the right thing. Respect, my dear, is the true measure of a person's heart. Raj listened intently, absorbing her every word. He had always known that respect was important, but the woman's words deepened his understanding. He left her cottage later that afternoon, his heart full of new wisdom, and he made a promise to himself to live by the golden rule every day. Years passed, and Raj grew into a young man. He became known throughout the village, not for his strength or wealth, but for his unwavering respect toward everyone, regardless of their station in life. He would help the elderly carry heavy loads, speak kindly to the farmers working in the fields, and share a smile with the children playing in the streets. His respectful nature earned him the trust and admiration of all who knew him, but he never let it go to his head. To him, respect was simply part of who he was. One day, the village faced a crisis. A terrible storm had swept through the valley, causing flooding that damaged the crops and homes of many villagers. The farmers, having lost their harvest, were devastated, and families were unsure of how they would rebuild their lives. In the midst of the chaos, Raj remembered the golden rule the old woman had taught him. He knew that the village needed to come together, to respect one another and work as a community if they were to overcome this hardship. Raj organized a village meeting, inviting everyone to gather in the village square. When the villagers arrived, they were weary, their faces etched with worry. But Raj stood before them, calm and composed, and spoke. "My friends, I know we are facing difficult times. The storm has taken much from us, but it hasn't taken our strength. We are a community, and as long as we respect and support one another, we can rebuild. We must help each other, just as we would want to be helped. I know this is hard, but together we can get through it." His words were simple, but they resonated deeply with the villagers. They had seen Raj's respect for others all throughout his life, and now they could see how his respect for the community was guiding them through their darkest hour. The villagers began to work together. The farmers helped repair damaged homes, the craftsmen offered their skills to rebuild, and the children gathered supplies to distribute to the elderly. As the days passed, the village slowly recovered, but it wasn't just the physical rebuilding that mattered. It was a renewed sense of unity and respect among the villagers. Raj's message had touched them all, and they, in turn, treated one another with more care and compassion. Years that followed, not just in terms of wealth or success, but in the way the people treated each other. There was a deep respect that flowed through the streets, in the conversations, and in the actions of everyone. The bonds of friendship and cooperation were stronger than ever, and it was all because Raj had shown them the power of respect. Raj, the boy who had once carried an old woman's basket, had become the heart of the village. He wasn't the wealthiest, nor the most powerful, but his respect for others had earned him something far more valuable: true admiration and love. The old woman, now long gone, would have been proud to see how Raj had turned the golden rule of respect into a way of life for the entire village. And so, the village flourished, not just because of its material wealth, but because of the respect that bound it together. Raj never stopped living by the golden rule, and as he grew older, he passed on the lessons of respect to the next generation. Moral of the story: respect is not just a rule to follow, but a way of life. It has the power to unite people, strengthen communities, and bring peace to the heart. Treat others the way you want to be treated, and you will make the world a better place.